Okay, well, I think we're going to go ahead and get started here in the interest of time and everyone's schedule. I want to first say good morning and an official Happy New Year to those of you that I haven't spoken with yet or seen yet. My name is Jackie Powell. I'm the President and CEO for the Dayton Convention and Visitors Bureau, and we want to thank you for joining us today. Just a few standard housekeeping notes here. There will be an opportunity at the end of today's presentation for questions and answers, so please feel free to type in any questions that you have in the chat box and we'll address them at the end of the presentation. And also, we are recording this, and a link to today's meeting will be emailed to each attendee tomorrow, so don't worry about taking meticulous notes. We'll send this on to you. So the Dayton Convention and Visitors Bureau, in lieu of our monthly in-person hotel meetings, began hosting monthly Zoom meetings last year for all of our hospitality partners to keep them apprised of important topics related to the local hospitality community, as well as trends and resources related to the ever-evolving pandemic. We will continue these monthly virtual Zoom meetings until we're able to practically and safely meet in person again. And should you have a topic that you would like for us to cover, please don't hesitate to reach out to me or any other member of our team. We look forward to a brighter 2021, and one of the bright points on the horizon is the planned reopening of the Dayton Convention Center. So the recent restructuring of the Dayton Convention Center's management is based on a sustainable model that will provide the Dayton Convention Center and our community with opportunities to once again become competitive in the convention hosting business. Convention business that can lift all boats, hotels, restaurants, attractions, retail outlets, and many vendors and businesses within the greater Dayton and the Southwest Ohio region. As most of you are aware, the Dayton Convention and Visitors Bureau has been a long-time champion for a restructured, sustainable Dayton Convention Center management model that will allow our community to be competitive with others and that will grow the economic vitality of the region. So this morning, it gives me a great pleasure to introduce Pam Plegeman, Executive Director of the new Montgomery County Convention Facilities Authority. Pam was hired in November 2020 by the Convention Facilities Authority Board, of which I am a member. And Pam comes to us with 30 years of hospitality industry experience, including work as a regional vice president with Spectra by Comcast Spectacor, which oversaw the food and beverage contract for 15 venues in Kentucky, Ohio, Missouri, Illinois, Oklahoma, and Texas, including the Dayton Convention Center for about 10 years. Pam left a facilities management position at Cincinnati Children's Hospital to lead the Montgomery County Convention Facilities Authority and has also operated her own consulting business, PLP Hospitality Solutions. So Pam, we are pleased to welcome you to our community and to provide you with this opportunity to meet with many of our Montgomery County hospitality partners and share your plans for the Dayton Convention Center. Thanks, Pam.
Thank you so much, Jackie. I am thrilled to be part of this community once again, and I really appreciate you allowing me to join this morning and really share the plans going forward. It's super exciting, and our collaborative approach is going to just really benefit so many different entities in the community. So thank you for that warm welcome. And with that, we'll just kind of go through and I'll share with you our plans going forward. So a little bit about the Montgomery County Convention Facilities Authority. As Jackie said, we were formed last year, and our mission is really about progress, hospitality, growth, and like I said, that collaborative approach to community development that drives that economic benefit we're all looking forward to as we get ready to reopen. So a little bit about our board. So our board, facilities board, is made up of 11 members, and just a wonderful group of community leaders that I am so proud to be part of. So the top row here is our executive committee. Walter Reynolds is our chairperson, Mike Stevens, our vice chair, and Elizabeth Connor, secretary, and myself as well. So that makes up our executive committee. There's been a lot of work that's taken place, over the last several months that we'll talk about. But just a great group of community leaders that I'm proud to be part of. So. As we talk about all these things, we are focused on the convention center really becoming a regional asset to drive the economy. So what our mission is we also want the community to be proud of the convention center and all the services and it becoming that real hub of the hospitality community that's going to benefit everyone. So talking about a collaborative approach, in the past, there's been several different types of conferences, conventions, both national, regional, sports related that really have created that pent up demand downtown that benefits all of our hotel partners in the county. So going forward, we're looking forward to driving more business with a revitalized center that benefits everyone. And we're going to be focusing on those. And a lot of folks in this group have benefited from that. You've seen it through, government, regional, tech business, both national and regional, Interchurch Holiness being an example, Winter Guard also benefiting the entire community. So really looking forward to driving new and keeping existing business going with our mission. So part of our revitalization plan and strategic plan that I'll talk about was to really get the funding in place so we can do all these great things we're going to talk about. So there's been a lot of questions in the community about, the new tax levy. So we've hit a couple of milestones recently. One being in December, the board did approve the new tax levy that will allow us the funding to do the revitalization and to operate effectively. So this is just a comparison. So both in the counties in Ohio, but also added a couple of tri-state, folks to compare to. So where we are right now at 13.5% total tax load, the new 3% will bring us to 16.5%. And as you can kind of see the comparison here, it really doesn't place us outside of the market. It still makes us very competitive and allows us to then come full circle and do the improvements that we need to do. But you can see the side by side here, and we're very close, either under or just a little over, like Louisville being, Jefferson County being just a little bit under where we are, but Indianapolis being over, and then the other side by side comparisons here. So that was the first milestone we reached in December, and I'll talk more about that as well, but the new CFA tax does take place March 1st. So we talked about our strategic plan a little bit, so kind of a then and now snapshot of where we are. So a feasibility study was done, I think it was 2015, which really spurred a task force to be formed in 2017 that did a lot of work over the next year to really evaluate and make recommendations for all these improvements going forward. What does that look like from a market, strategy standpoint? So with that, the CFA was formed in 2020. Like I mentioned, the funding has been established for the revitalization in 2020. And our next milestone that I'm super excited about was the board did approve a special committee to be formed this month for us to then put an RFP out for professional management services for the convention center. So that task force has been formed, and we'll start the good work going forward to select the venue management company that will run the center and act as agent for the CFA and be another step up part of our community approach to the mission. So our goal for selecting and recommending to the board the management company that will come out of a competitive bid process. Our goal is for April 2021 for them to be in place, so we can be ready for what everybody's been hoping and waiting to hear is for our reopening May 1st. So top of mind for us is really to reopen safely, comfortably for our guests, and we'll talk about a phased approach of improvements that are pending approval, and we are working on our master plan. So hoping to have renderings in the next couple of months about what that's going to look like, both inside and outside of the center. Again, the progress is in place. I know this has been a long time coming for many, and you've been watching these steps move forward, but I'm really excited that we're here today. So we'll hear more about that in just a little bit. So as I mentioned, getting the venue management company in place in April, and then our tentative reopening plans for May 1st. We are closely monitoring the CDC and state guidelines, and clean, being safe, clean, comfortable for our guests as they come back in, and really, adhering to those guidelines is top of mind. But also strengthening our partnerships with the hotel and hospitality community. So I've done a lot of outreach already. I've met with several of you, so really just trying to hear from you. What do you want? What do you want to see later as the future unfolds? And so I appreciate everyone that's participated with meetings with me one-on-one so far, and much more to come as we move forward. So, our goal is to enhance the services at the center, right? Food and beverage program, the audiovisual, the technology, really to bring us into the 21st century and offer all of the things that a top-notch convention center should offer. So you'll hear about my phased approach to improvements, and then our main goal is just to, like we said, attract new business, retain existing business, and really develop even a stronger collaborative sales approach. So our phased approach for improvements, and again, this is our wish list. There's going to be about 4 phases. We are working on, there's what's called a PACE program through the port that will help us with a couple of these first heavy lifts as we go forward. So that funding we have to establish. 2 of the major ticket items at the center, one is being the HVAC replacement that has to be done. Again, clean air, comfortable environment. The HVAC that's in place now is past its life, and we have to look at a replacement. So we're working on getting scope of work done for that. Roof repairs, the skywalk connecting to the crown, especially, that roof has to be replaced. We do know that. And then there are some roof repairs that need to take place. So we're also working on that scope. Really looking at a refresh to lobby and restrooms. We want to add, a really nice concierge desk. So when we have groups in, that there is a warm welcome and a point of reference where they can, know about all of the services and the attractions and everything that we have to offer that you all have promoted for many, many years, but also really to have that stopping point when they come in the building to know, what hotels we have to offer, what attractions, what everything that there is to do in our community. So looking at upgrading a concierge desk for phase 1, but also a refresh to some of our signage outside. It's a little tired. It needs some love. So looking at the ribbon board that we may put in place on the big circular metal structure that's out front, and make better use of that as an entry point for our venue. And really we're in pre-design phase, right? So we're trying to determine the next priorities. But what phase 2 would look like in 21-22 going forward is furnitures, fixtures, equipment, really replacing the lobby furniture with some timeless soft seating. Looking at our telescopic seating, it's under review right now. So we have some very aged bleachers that are in the building that we need to take a look at replacing. So carpet, tile, finishes, all those good things, that's going to really make it pop and be comfortable. Looking at, carpet tiles instead of one-piece carpet situation is the way to go, right? You get a stain on a piece of carpet, you can replace it easy with the carpet tiles that really the designs that they have now, you can't even tell they're carpet tiles. So looking at those, upgrading meeting room tables and chairs. Our inventory right now is the heavy, wood, metal, really, labor intensive inventory. So really looking at replacing some of those and getting quotes on that. Really upgrading F&B equipment is needed. So we're going to do a full assessment of everything from, how old is the dishwasher? What do we need to do in the kitchen to really make our food and beverage program top notch? Phase 3 would be, again, taking a look at the restrooms again, which we need to bring into code, touchless, right? Everybody's gone to touchless and really making the restrooms a focus. Refreshing the exhibit hall, it needs some care, paint, ceiling treatments. The VIP suite would be a focus, getting that refurbished and refreshed. And then exterior enhancements and upgrades. So, really working with an architect partner to tell us what that looks like so we can tie into downtown, but also really add some really unique textures out on the exterior to, again, just come full circle. Our theater is really a gem. So many folks I've talked to didn't even know we had a theater in the convention center. So, we can seat almost 700 folks, and doing a refresh of that theater, adding some additional enhanced lighting. I really see that as more of a conference theater that we can do meetings in and continue to also support some of the small sporting groups in there as well. Looking at a fast casual F&B concept that's got entry from the street level and from the lobby level. Right now, our concessions, we have 2 permanent concession stands in the exhibit hall that we will refresh, but we also need to take a look at all of our food and beverage offerings and maybe do more of a seated fast casual concept. So we're going to take a look at that in phase 3. Phase 4, potential renovations to convert our existing DCC offices into additional meeting space. Our new management team is going into the existing chamber offices. The chamber, moved into new offices downtown. So we'll be moving our offices into that space. And then, really just thinking about the best use of the existing DCC offices and taking a look at, this was mentioned in the 2015 study as well, side-by-side comparison of our ballroom space, potentially looking at renovating and adding a new ballroom to the convention center. So those are our phased approaches, plans going forward. Again, you'll see this evolve along the way, but I'm crazy excited about the future and what this looks like. And moving forward, I just want to thank everybody for giving me some time to share with you. And the future is bright. Look forward to our partnership. And I'm always here to answer any questions, give you a tour if you guys want to come down and take a look at the center if you haven't been in a while. I'd be happy to do that. So please reach out. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pam. Very informative. Bev, do we have any questions?
We currently do not, but we'd like to encourage this time as an opportunity to post any questions that you might have in the chat box for Pam or just in general.
while we're doing that, you know, Pam, you've had a lot of experience in this world. So as you came new to this project, and you've now, you know, had a month or two, all of that, right, to kind of get your feet wet. What do you see as some really big opportunities for us, not just with the convention center, but as a community in terms of, you know, the infrastructure that needs to go along with having a vibrant convention center to help attract groups and so on and so forth? What do you know, from your experience in other communities, what do you see might be some opportunities for us as well?
I'll tell you, once people take note of when the convention center refurbishment or renovation or expansion happens, other businesses tend to fall in line. So whether that be, you know, hotel partners, whether that be more retail downtown. So, really taking a look at everything as a whole, and how that we can all benefit from that. So what's exciting to me is once we have our master plan in place and we can share what this looks like, you know, there may be more developers that want to take over some of the buildings that are downtown to really create them. So even in our communications, we're talking about the arcade and all that's happening there, and having the pavilion, 11 pavilion across the street, really that collaborative sales approach. I truly think that creating synergies in that downtown space and beyond on our sales approach and our messaging is really going to be the way to go. But going forward also, you know, there's still going to be a time lapse, if you will, for us to get back to some sort of normal. So, you know, we are working in the back end to create a proposal.
Pam, excuse me for interrupting. Had a few posts of your sound being garbled and difficult. We thought maybe you might want to try to mute and then unmute.
Oh, let me try to do that. Sure.
Much better.
Does that sound better? Okay. All right. Sorry about that, guys. But you know, looking at hybrid and virtual meetings and being able to do a plug and play for, you know, groups that still, you know, as we watch those capacities open up, you know, now that we have a vaccine schedule, hoping, you know, that we'll turn those corners soon, and just really keeping an eye on what are our groups looking for as well. So with that, you know, just really being user friendly. But with all of those things in mind, you know, it's going to be a win-win for sure.
We have one question posted about COVID and its impact on hotel stays, and the question of how is that impacting revenues for the center?
So while the center has been closed for several months, so there's been a great impact there. You know, as we are transferring ownership to the CFA, the city of Dayton still owns the building. So obviously they've had to make adjustments and be nimble and flexible. But we are still selling for the future and contracting groups, you know, all the way out to 2024 and beyond right now. So, you know, once we reopen, you know, those revenues come back, but it certainly has had an impact on the center and our industry. I mean, our industry is really taking, I'm sure everybody's reading, you know, correspondence that's happening in other states, and you know, it's really had a real impact. But you know, I think that we're starting to see some light at the end of the tunnel, and regardless of the mandates still are as restrictive as they are now, we need to be ready to reopen to support the hotels so they can get back to business and we can all move forward, onward and upward, right? So
Thanks, Pam. I also wanted to say some of you that are on this call may not recognize what's the difference between the Dayton Convention Center and the Dayton Convention and Visitors Bureau, as we're often sort of confused, and or Chamber of Commerce or whatever. So the Dayton Convention and Visitors Bureau is the destination marketing organization for Montgomery County, Dayton, Montgomery County, Kettering, Miamisburg, Vandalia, so on and so forth. And our mission is to bring money into our community by having folks come in and stay in our hotels and eat in our restaurants and visit our attractions and so on and so forth. So, we have been selling, though differently, for these last several months during the pandemic, but still maintaining those relationships that we have with existing clients, and focusing on those group sizes of 300 or less that we can bring into the community right now, those types of things. But going forward, certainly we're looking at strengthening that relationship, that marketing opportunity and relationship with selling and promoting the building. And Pam, I know we've had, because of this time lapse with the pandemic, we have not had, let's say, clients in the building as much. And we also may have had some clients who may have been disappointed in an experience that they had in the past, because yes, there are some needs for the building. So do you have any thoughts on how we might first address getting those customers back, realizing that obviously right now still we're in this pandemic and we have to take precautions on that end, but any thoughts on that?
Yeah, a couple of thoughts. So when I first started, we talked about, if they do not want to travel and want to do maybe a virtual tour, having some communication around that so we can provide a spotlight into our building. And then also with that, hoping to lace in some of the improvements. But I think you said it best, that we've got to stay in contact and communication with those folks. So I am more than happy to, and we've talked about a couple already, that may have chosen to go somewhere else, but we want them back. We want them back. So we need to, that outreach is super important, and I'm happy to personally be involved in that, and just to really share with those groups that we're going to be here with open arms to welcome them back to a better and improved center, and a professional team that's going to take care of them. So, there's been some groups that are, they were used to working with some individuals that aren't on board any longer. And so we need to give them a comfort level that the hospitality is going to shine through, that, I think that's something that really Dayton's been known for. I mean, when I was involved before, we would hear all the time, we might not have the most up-to-date innovative center, but boy, does our staff shine. So we need to make sure that we continue that. So we just need to be nimble and really bend and flex. And, if groups are on the fence, when it's safe to travel, we need to go see them. We need to go visit them, and always keep that interest in mind, so we can show that true partnership.
We have another question. What groups or group types do you feel offer the greatest growth opportunity for the convention center business?
Well, so certainly national exposure and business help all entities when we can attract national business, but also regional government, technology groups, all of those folks. But we've done an awful lot of sporting events there as well. So really focusing on those and many others. I mean, there's a lot of local corporate social groups too that we need to do outreach to. But I guess it's hard to say the most economic impact certainly is going to come from the national business as a community, because it's going to cause that compression and that pent up demand where the hotels will benefit as well. But I hope that answers the question.
And if I could kind of toss in there too, I think that in the study that was conducted in 2015, one of the greatest opportunities that they felt there was to increase the youth and amateur sporting activities and events in the building. And certainly from the standpoint of the Dayton Convention and Visitors Bureau and the business that we work on and touch. And again, we're in multiple entities and pushing business into every hotel in the county. So we work with UD Arena, we work with the various soccer fields and so on and so forth. But certainly from our standpoint, that is probably the market that we do the most business with, if you will. And I think too that one of the things as we're moving forward and out of this pandemic, hopefully, if people are going to go and see their kids' events, I mean, and that is going to continue to happen. I mean, folks are going to go and see their kids, in the soccer games and the volleyball events and so on and so forth. And so I think there is a real opportunity to build on that, not just with the convention center, but with the other events that we've been able to build and support in the community over the years. So I know I look forward to, and I'm sure Ron does from our staff that handles that market, looks forward to looking at what those opportunities will be in the future in the building. And you made mention about the bleachers in the building, and I know that was an area that we have heard from some of our religious groups, as well as sporting events that have taken place in the building in the past, that, yes, that would be something that they would be interested in seeing some refurbishments too. So thank you for bringing that up, Pam.
Absolutely.
We have another question. Do you envision a faster contract process, as previously contracts sometimes took a long time between the building and clients?
Well, certainly we want to turn those around as quickly as possible. I don't know what the delay was prior, or can't really speak to that, but I can tell you that will be a focus. Making sure that we are getting those RFPs responded to quickly, to the contracts out quickly. There was an approval process that I think that we're probably going to be able to take 1 or 2 steps out of that process with the new team. So to answer your question, yes, I do anticipate that speeding up.
And Pam, I have another question for you, or actually just ask maybe if you can kind of touch on this. You were talking about the hiring of a management company for the building. Can you go into that a little bit more, and what some of the benefits of that in terms of what some benefits of that are in terms of potential sharing of business and so on and so forth that might be, important to our community?
I sure will. So there's the resources behind hiring a private management company, a venue management company, are really just, the list is long. So mainly the resources come along with that are, for instance, as many of you know, there's several management companies that manage, centers in Ohio, Columbus, Duke Energy Convention Center, Cleveland, Toledo. So with that, there's synergies, right? So not only do we have access to stronger team support when we have large conventions or conferences and we need support, and we will with startup, right? We're going to need an interim plan. So they have professionals that are already in place doing those jobs. But the biggest thing is the sales approach. So, and I'll use this, I think Chris from the chamber used this as well, but if the Arnold Classic has got Columbus sold out and they have a conference and they're going to knock on our door and say, hey, can you hold this conference in Dayton or in the community? So there is that referral system. There's a real strategy around joint selling when it comes to the venue management companies, because obviously, they want to keep those conferences in their sector. But same with Cleveland. If they're sold out, they're going to call on us, and we're going to do the same with them. So that approach really does drive business, and I've been part of that firsthand. So it's real, and that's going to help us as well. But the resources, the national purchasing power, that will help, again, our bottom line, equipment. Say we need more stage sections than we have in house, and we can easily put them on a truck and send them, that kind of thing. So the staff, the equipment, the sales approach, just it really, there's a lot of benefits to that. So the process looks like this. So an RFP gets sent out. There will be companies that provide a proposal. We will review those proposals, the special committee task force, and we will shortlist a group to present to us why they are the best choice for Dayton and for our community. So there's lots of requirements behind that. It is a scored system. There's a matrix. So we'll do a meaningful process around recommendation to the board. So that's a heavy lift over the next couple of months, but and then what will happen is, especially in the pandemic, is the org chart will start to fill, and we'll want a phased approach there as well. So they will send key operators in from another building and help us stand up, get ready to open, while we find the right long-term staff for that. So what that does is create, top of mind also is local businesses and minority partners. That's a big part of the RFP process, and a heavily scored, process to let us know, hey, what's your plans? How are you going to involve the community, and how's it going to create jobs and support for our local businesses. There's lots of services, right, that will be needed. And so how are you going to take a collaborative approach there? So lots going into that selection process, but to have a professional management company in there is just going to be a benefit for all of us. So looking forward to that.
Thanks, Pam. And I know, I think that network opportunity, if you will, is so important as, again, we're trying to bring more business and larger pieces of business, if you will, into the convention center, which creates that compression that results in economic impact for our entire community.
Most definitely.
We have another clarification question. Could Pam tell us briefly of the new operating structure versus previous City of Dayton ownership?
So the first, I'll start with ownership structure. So we are pending the real estate transfer, if you will. The ownership transfer is in progress with the city to transfer ownership to the CFA. So the management company then will act as our agent. So I will be officed at the center. It will consist of an org chart that we approve, which will be, a general manager for the building, a director of sales and marketing, director of operations. So all the department heads that oversee, event management, all those things. So that is very similar to the way the structure was prior. But we are asking the bidders for a seamless approach. So for instance, if a customer came into the center prior, they would have to contract with the City of Dayton and also contract with Spectra Food Services under a separate agreement to provide food and beverage for them. This will be a one-stop shop seamless approach on that end. So it'll be a one solution. Where food and beverage, the chef, the food and beverage team will be part of the venue management team. So I managed a lot of different contract types when I was an RVP. And for our size building and the structure, what we'd call an in-house account, which was where everything's one and seamless approach, makes sense for us. So, but there's lots of different contract types, right? In Columbus, they have ASM who manages the building, and they have Levy Restaurants who manages the food and beverage. So, and that's a much larger operation. we want to make it seamless and a one-stop shop. So, you know, that's the goal here. So hopefully that paints a little bit of a clear picture of the structure there. Good question.
Those appear to be all of the questions that we have. I don't know if there's anything additional that you would like to share.
I just want to say once again, I'm looking forward to the partnership in this community. I have a true love for this community, and you know, our joint mission to you know, as we turn a corner, you know, we just need to support each other, right? We've got to support each other. We've got to, you know, welcome our groups back with open arms and with the hospitality that you all have always provided. But just, you know, start thinking about elevating, being nimble, right? We really have to be agile and flexible in our approach going forward. So just looking forward to celebrating successes with everyone. And I really appreciate you taking time with me this morning. So looking forward to it.
Well, thank you so much, Pam. We really appreciate the information that you shared this morning. I know I'm very excited about the things that are currently already happening with the County Convention Facilities Authority and your leadership. And we're certainly looking forward to some exciting business that we can bring into the community, and lots of good opportunities, I think, that are going to present themselves. So thank you very much. And again, to everyone, thank you for being on the call today. We will send a link for this to you tomorrow for this meeting that we had today. And everyone take care, be safe, be well. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too.